I don't believe anyone in the world knows as much about these matters as you. Truly unbelievable. Extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. So I take it you believe that the future of the royal family is dim.
Oh, the House of Windsor's over. It's gone. Even the judges in England, in the United Kingdom, are fully aware that the House of Windsor is fake. They are absolutely 100% totally aware that the Queen is a fake, that she is flat-lie royal and not a royal, never the Queen, and never crowned. And that the reason Elizabeth married Prince Philip was by extortion. Prince Philip extorted Elizabeth into marriage on the basis that she was an illegitimate non-royal. Prince Philip's a conman, pedophile, Nazi, heroin trafficker, mass murderer, contract killer, and he even stole my car in London in 2012. Prince Philip stole my car.
Prince Philip stole your car.
Prince Philip stole my car, Mercedes Vito van. He stole it. He absolutely stole it.
But why in God's name did he do that, Greg? He could afford a zillion of them on his own. He wanted yours.
No, he didn't want me to have... Well, it's called depleting the resources of the person that's exposing the story. London cost me a lot. London was a very expensive fraud in motion. Yeah.
You have no concern the royals coming after you? I mean, you survived multiple assassination attempts.
He tried to murder me in the same year in England. And I ended up in the Y Hospital in the borderlands between England and Wales. I was in there for 2 days on morphine on the 5th and 6th of June 2012. But the interesting thing is that the assassin came to the hospital and rang up to get the final order for the execution by Prince Philip. And Prince Philip was in hospital and unavailable on the same 2 days.
That can't be a coincidence, right?
Well, you know, it's like Prince Philip's controllers are aware perhaps of who I am and what I'm doing, and that it's true and correct, and they saved me on that basis.
Extraordinary. Just extraordinary. You've had any ramifications from your book about blackmail in New Zealand, the guide and all that? I mean, has anything developed there of work?
Yeah, actually I have. Prince Philip's agent in New Zealand, who's the marquee boss in New Zealand, called Peter Williams QC, he did everything he could to suppress New Zealand, a blackmailer's guide, partially because it exposed him as a heroin trafficker and a homosexual whose daughter, Kate Williams, is has been a methamphetamine user. So what he did was get his daughter to, he got her a job in the judiciary, so that was cover. And then they blew up my car several times, and they actually physically attacked it. About 7 police officers involved in attacking my car outside the High Court in broad daylight when I had won the right to appeal the case because I was never invited to the hearing.
You mean they took like hammers to the vehicle just to smash it up?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, what happened was Prince Philip's agent, like it's all about depleting the resources and slowing things down, right? So
yeah,
Peter Aldrich Williams QC was he started off as a bank robber in 1954, 58, and then he moved into heroin trafficking with the Queen Mother, who's actually Elizabeth's mother, who's the maid. And that heroin trafficking went on from at least the early 1960s, according to Army intelligence, and carried on right through to 1980. And I was actually the target of that heroin because Queen Victoria's psychic said that the person that wrote this up would come from Lemuria. So Prince Philip had his agents around the world, and especially in Lemuria, supplying heroin to the places that the person predicted to write this could be. So Lemuria included New Zealand, and I think that one of the psychics predicted that I would come from the opposite side of the world, north, which is, you know, confusing little conundrum, the opposite side of the world, north. So I lived in North Auckland, and then North Shore, and then North Coast, and then North Grove Ave, and then Norton Road, which means Northtown Road. So this is the opposite side of the world, north. And Prince Philip's agent, Peter Williams, targeted the heroin to all these areas called North, especially North Shore. So I was the target of the heroin. The heroin didn't get to me, but it was, you know, destroying the neighborhoods. And then they had another crack with the methamphetamines, and it still didn't get to me. So they didn't know who I was, but they were targeting me. And so when I got to London, they targeted me by stealing a car, stealing £100,000 and movie rights as well. And didn't allow me access to publish any books or sell any books in any shops or through any chains, or to have a literary agent.
They blocked the selling of your books throughout the UK?
Oh, yeah, completely, yeah. And
but they can be obtained through Amazon.com.
Yeah, they've also, yes, yeah, they can. And theworldoftruth.net. Theworldoftruth.net.
The World of Truth?
Yes.
Worldоftruth.net.
The World of Truth.
The World of Truth. Is that one word online?
Yeah. The
Worldоftruth.net.
Yeah. So you can put a little thing on the bottom of the screen if you want. They you know, have done their best. I've had about 14 assassination attempts, and so there's others that I haven't really bothered to count. You know, some I've written up. Most of them I've written up just as a matter of record. But Peter Eldridge Williams QC, who's the mafia boss in New Zealand, who's Prince Philip's agent, who I exposed as the heroin trafficker and methamphetamine trafficker, who murdered Harvey and Jeanette Crew, and then accused Arthur Allen Thomas, and then got Arthur Allen Thomas off, and thus became the hero, getting Arthur Allen Thomas off for the murders that Peter Williams had done. It took 10 years, and it kept Peter Williams in the forefront of the legal media from 1970 to 1980. So I took him to, I exposed him in New Zealand at Blackmailers Guide as basically the mafia boss and heroin trafficker, and he tried to suppress the book. And the case went on for 5 years, and then I had a flurry of murder attempts and my car being exploded, bombed, but instead of doing an explosion, which is newsworthy, they did implosion. So it was just a huge maintenance bill. It started off as $800, and then it went to $1,500, and then to $8,000, you know. So they blow up your car by destroying the electronics. So it was becoming horrendously expensive to live there. And then I got a loan car just for the day. It's a little Honda Civic. I took that to the High Court, drove myself there, parked it outside the High Court, went in, won the right to appeal, came out, and the mafia boss of New Zealand, Peter Williams, was standing with a detective either side of another two behind him, and there's another detective on the corner of the High Court, another one across the street. So there were 6 detectives, and a retired police officer called Winston West came round on his motor scooter and jumped on the bonnet of my car as I was getting out of the park, the roadside park. And
while you were in the car?
While I'm in the car driving, like, you know, doing 1 mile an hour, just, you know, trying to get out. And he ripped the wiper blade and arm right off the car, and he ripped the rear vision mirror right off the car. And then it's a Honda Civic, you know, so the bonnet's really low.
I've had 2 Honda Civics, Greg.
Yeah, this is like a 1985 thing. It's a loan car. So you can actually sit on the bonnet and your feet can touch the ground, or they may be that far off the ground, right? So he's sitting on the bonnet, right? And he falls on the ground. He's got a helmet on, a full motorcycle suit. It's white. Falls on the ground. He waves his arms and legs up in the air, back's on the ground, like a dog wanting to get patted. And like he's injured. He's not. Yeah, he definitely hasn't been. He's hit the car. I haven't hit him.
But these are the local law enforcement authorities who are attacking you.
This is law enforcement. And then 20 seconds later, an ambulance picks him up and whisks him away. But the hospital is 2 minutes drive away by ambulance. Right? So the whole thing was prearranged just as a facade, you know. And then it got so ludicrous. I'd absolutely won the case by evidence. And it got so ludicrous that they actually had to close down the courts. They had no court of record, so there's no record. I had 800 pages of evidence of his heroin trafficking and methamphetamine trafficking and pedophilia, etc., and organised pedophilia. And he, this is Prince Philip's agent we're talking about, and he, the judge suppressed it all. And then the case was delayed for 5 years, and I had all these attacks, including murder attempts and car being imploded. I went overseas for a year, and then the case was heard without me being notified, either by email or mail. And then the SIS moved into my house and interfered with my mail, so I didn't get any mail ever again.
Greg, all in all, it's fairly astonishing you're still here to do this interview with me today, frankly. I mean, I am just in awe of the history you've led, the threats upon your life, the attempts to kill you, what you've been able to unearth about the royal family, about the whole history of the British monarchy. I am stunned. I am in awe. And I cannot thank you enough for coming on for this interview today. And I look forward to many more, my friend.
Yeah, cheers.
This is Jim Fetzer, your host on The Real Deal, thanking my special guest extraordinaire, Greg Hallett, for being here, and all of you for listening.